together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Sober Sundays. It's a lot of S's. Sober Sundays. Especially if you make it plural, then it's sober Sundays. Makes it even worse. There's going to come a time when we run out of jokes. At some point, if I tell 5 of them a day, okay, that's a lot of jokes. Hope you're having a good day. Today, we're talking about our primary purpose. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. You might feel like you have some other primary purposes in your life. Maybe God has called you to do things. All right. Let's talk about followers real quick this morning before we get to the jokey part. Let me go grab something here real quick. Why are you being so paranoid, Katie? What did you do wrong? Been more than 72 hours, but they tell you to keep your hand elevated the first 72 hours, but it's still kind of swollen. So I'm going to just keep doing it until it feels better. Mostly I wear this to remind me not to use this hand because I keep using it. I can't even put product in my hair. Who cares? Let's talk about followers. You can't lead and follow at the same time, Oh, you can, but you can't. I follow, I may follow people on Facebook, things like that. I don't even consider the people that follow. I mean, it's just a word, it's followers. But what about following the word of God? What about God's followers? Are you a follower of God? Do you follow God? Because really it's the only following you need to be doing in your life. Okay? Just saying. Okay? You run around, everything. People are now currency. How people feel about you and see you and everything is actually currency in our world right now. That's not going to work out too well. I tell you now, that is not going to work out well for anybody. Or Michelle. Good afternoon, actually. I've been sleeping a lot this week. I'm not sure why. My wife's car is fixed, so that's a good thing. How's it running, babe?
Not sure yet. I mean, he says it's great, but I'm getting ready to leave.
Okay. Yeah, you're the person that should decide whether it's running great or not. So, because you know the car.
All right. Love you. I'll see you in a few.
Love you. Thank you, baby. Be careful. But yeah, been sleeping a little too much. I think I have been. Of course, I did have surgery. Yeah, blah blah. There's a lot of people that have hand surgery who went through what I went through, but still went back to work and did other stuff. So really, But what is that? It's a comparison, and a lot like everybody else. There, I also, there's a lot of things I do, a lot of other people don't do too. So I'm out here fighting the fights that nobody really wants to fight. I don't blame them. Actually, I'm stepping out of that part now. It's been a few weeks since I posted anything that is really, I posted a few things on fentanyl just to prove I'm correct, just to prove that Dion is correct. It is what it is. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's some things I am willing to make amends for. I will repeat that. There are some things in this world I am willing to make amends for. Right? There are certain situations where I will do something and I don't mind making an amends afterwards. I'm still going to do it. All right. Jill says, I'm so tired of love of money and the power it gives to the wrong hands. Yeah. Yeah. What would life be like if we went back to the bartering system? I'd kick all your asses. I've been living off the barter system all my life. I'd rip through all of you. I do. I barter all the time. Why do you think I get everything done pretty much for free usually? Because of the work that I do in my community. See, when I help somebody out and it's like a kid and their parents appreciate it, and that parent is a mechanic, I tend to get my car fixed for free. It's just how my life works. Now it's always dependent upon something. On whether Dion is carrying through on his primary purpose or not. As long as I'm helping God's children, he tends to help me out. Seems to be a way it works. Sometimes I have to wait a little bit. It's all right. So was that done for free? No, not really. I mean, there was reciprocation, action, your time costs money, my time costs money. Does it really though? I mean, come on. Does it really? All right. These are some repeatings. Who called me? My mom called me. Why would my mom call me and hang up? Oh no. All right. Okay, these are going to be some repeats probably, but there's not much I can do about that. Well, I mean, I've got all the control. There's absolutely something I can do about it. I'm not willing to do anything about it. How about that? Hey, Amber. Good to see you. All right. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up alone? Because it was too tired. How do you make 7 even? Take away the S. Yeah, take away the S, it spells even. Excuse me while I describe these very simple jokes. Let me explain mansplaining to you. What's it called when a snowman throws a tantrum? A meltdown. How do cows learn about current affairs? They read the newspaper. Do they even put out newspapers anymore? I was trying to think of a digital version of that I could use, but I couldn't. Theheifer.com. I don't know. That's as good, and that's not even very good. How do you make waterbed Well, how do you make a waterbed bouncier? Okay, first of all, you shouldn't be bouncing on your waterbed. Okay, that's not very smart. But if you do want to make it bouncier, you're gonna fill it with Poland spring water. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do some dad jokes for kids. We're just gonna do 3 of them. My mom sent me a text message. I'm real curious as to what it is. What animal is dishonest? A lion. Right, right, a lion. What has 4 wheels and flies? A garbage truck. Garbage truck. Oh dear Lord. Yeah, huh, Michelle? These jokes are not. They weren't too bad today, were they? Oh, okay. It was because I had sent her a text. I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? It has to do with the text I sent her like a week ago. Okay. Let's keep up, Dion. Keep up with the conversation here. I invited her to a Facebook group. Welcome, Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. And you all got invited to the Facebook group. At least most people, I'm sure, did. Right? Um, how many people are even in that Facebook group now? It's my peer-led pathways. 28 members, man. Not bad. Not bad. I should probably say something in there. Who's that? That looks just like me. Okay, but it's not. Okay, welcome to Daily Church. My name's Dion. If you're here, please say hello. We're gonna skip the Podfather part. Nobody really wants to call me Podfather. Does it? Yeah. Anyway, who fucking cares? All right. So we're gonna be in AA Comes of Age today. And this did come from a reading, but it's from May 30th. So, yeah, we're not going to worry about that part. Now, we're in what's called the 3 legacies. The 3 legacies of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know what the 3 legacies. You may not remember them off the top of my head or top of your head. You may not even realize that they were called the legacies. There are 3 of them. They're on your coin. All right. In fact, I used it as a thumbnail for this one. Right? It's our coin. It's the circle with the triangle. The triangle has 3 sides, and those are the 3 legacies: unity, recovery, and service. Those are our 3 legacies. Between those 3 things, what do we get? Well, we get our primary purpose. And what is our primary purpose? To stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Now, that may sound very simple, but it's not as simple as it sounds. There are a lot of moving parts to all this, and we do our best to keep it simple. Okay? This is why we have group consciousness. If you are in a home group, you have got to be going to your group conscious, or you are not doing part of the legacies. I see a lot of people in AA right now. They're working the steps. They're doing this, and maybe they're doing service work, but they're not looking at the traditions, or they're looking at the traditions, but they're not doing service work, or they're doing neither. Right? If you've gotten through the 12 steps, you better be looking at the 12 traditions. I hope you're looking at this other stuff. I hope your sponsor's covering the traditions with you. They're supposed to. Yeah. Go to a traditions meeting. Go to a 12 by 12 study. Learn them. Okay? It is how we survive. It's part of how we survive in this really, really fucked up world. Okay? Well, it's not that fucked up. People just like to make it look that way. Yeah, everybody's out there arguing. I go out there, everybody's get along just fine. I don't, where's all this coming from? Anyway, So we tried a lot of different things, and we're going to jump in, and it's going to sound weird in the beginning, but after a little bit it'll start to settle in. If you would like to follow along and you have AA comes of age, I'm on page 108. Yes, we did dream those dreams. Now what they had done is they had just put together a hospital that now go read your tradition 8. Okay, this is what it's the story of rule 62. Okay. If I say rule 62 and you don't know what it is, I suggest you go look it up. All right. How natural that was, since most alcoholics are bankrupt idealists. Nearly every one of us had a wish to do great good, perform great deeds that embody great ideals. We were perfectionists who, failing to attain perfection, had gone to the other extreme and settled for the bottle and the blackout. Providence through AA had brought us within reach of our highest expectations. So why shouldn't we share our way of life with everyone? And I get that. I do. I absolutely believe that this way of life will work for anyone. I believe that because I have watched other people non-alcohol. I just see it help a lot of people. You don't even need an addiction. Maybe you just want to be a better person. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. But when we start to exceed what we are, okay, nowadays we call it staying in your own lane. Okay. A few years back, I tried to jump on the fentanyl train. And what I was doing is I was doing a podcast with mothers who had lost children. It was unthinking. All I was doing was re traumatizing these people. No. After 2 shows, I cut it. I'm like, no, it isn't helping. I was the wrong. Now, is them doing that helpful? Yes, but I wasn't the right person for it. They needed somebody who had who had lost a child to fentanyl and had worked through the grief. That would be the right host for that. I was out of my lane, and since I was out of my lane, it did not work. We feel better. We want to shove this down people's throats, man. It won't work that way. All right. Shell says, I do too. Everyone should do the 12 steps. I agree, or at least something like them. Well, we tried AA hospitals. Yep. At one point, AA had hospitals. We bought a lot of stuff. There's a lot of the AA clubs on the East Coast are bought by AA. We have one of those in Colorado, York Street. We have York Street. It is owned by AA. Okay. Yes, we did build a hospital at one point. It didn't work. We are not laymen. We are not doctors. We are not nurses. We are not psychiatrists. We are not therapists. Not while we're in AA. You might be one professionally. Okay. And they all bog down because you cannot put an AA group into business. Too many busybodies always spoil the broth. AA groups had their fling at education, and when they began publicly to whoop up the merits of this brand or that brand of education, people became confused. Did AA fix alcoholics, or was it an educational project? Was AA spiritual, or was it medical? Was it a reform movement? In consternation, we saw ourselves getting married to all kinds of enterprises, some good and some not so good. And you see people jumping on bandwagons all over the place right now when it comes to recovery. If you are being paid by, if you are an influencer who is being paid by a treatment center to bring people in, no. Not if you were 12-step base. I mean, you can, but in this case, you're jumping on what happens when their competition decides that they want to come after you, the spokesperson. Do you know how many influencers I have seen come in and out for Palm Beach Recovery Center, at least 20. And this has been over a 4-year period, at least 20. What did I tell you? What does it tell you? It should tell you something. All right. When we saw alcoholics committed willy-nilly to prisons and asylums, we began to say there ought to be a law. Huh. In full public view, some AAs could commence to thump tables in legislative committee rooms and to agitate for legal reform. That made good newspaper copy, but little else. We saw that we would soon be mired in politics. We found it imperative, even inside AA, to remove the AA name from clubs and 12-step houses. Huh. So what do we call it? 12-step based is what a lot of people call it. There are a lot of treatment centers and things out there. They are not AA, but they are 12-step based. Is York Street an AA club? Not according to this, even though it's owned by AA. Is primary purpose and edit and all these other clubs, are they AA clubs? No. AA doesn't do that. They are clubs that we hold AA meetings at, okay, but they are not AA, okay, because there might be NA meetings going on there. CA, Al-Anon. Oh, see, it's not an AA club. That money isn't going to AA. The money that the club makes goes to paying the rent, the bills, the power, the internet, dishwashing soap, coffee, water for the coffee machines, a lot of chairs, tables, big books, 12 by 12s, things you got to hang on the walls. I mean, it's never ending. Okay. So AA does not do that. That is not our area. We do not go for legislative things. Now, you as a person might, and that's okay. But you're not walking up to the voting booth wearing a shirt that says I'm an AA member either. Okay. Or you might. I don't know. All right. These strenuous adventures implanted the deep-rooted conviction that in no circumstances could we endorse any related enterprise, no matter how good. Well, how good it is opinion. How good according to who? All right. We of Alcoholics Anonymous could not be all things to all men, but we should try to be. The moment we lent the AA name to any outside enterprise, we got into trouble, sometimes very serious trouble. Every time. Okay. Now, has AA gone outside of this from what I've seen? No. AA itself has not. No. But I do see a lot of AA members kind of, they're making changes and reform out there. Good for them. I don't agree with all of it. I don't need to agree. At that point, it's not AA. It's not AA. Okay. A few years ago, they tried to make it to where a certain percentage of Mile High Stadium. This was done by people in recovery because they wanted to make money off of it. That was the only reason they wanted it. So they could hold their events, make more money, get more donations. It was unthinking. We alcoholics cannot be protected. You cannot wrap us up in bubble wrap and hope we make it. Okay. Now I don't leave the house often, but alcohol still pops up everywhere, every place. When I was depressed a couple weeks ago, I got a bunch of alcohol ads. It always happens. When I'm depressed, I get alcohol ads. And I have it set. People keep saying, well, that don't matter. They don't care. If they really knew what they were doing, then they would stop sending me ads for treatment centers. I'm 10 years sober. I don't need a treatment center. I get those because I do a lot of talking about recovery and they want me to, well, maybe see our advertising and send them over. No, that ain't going to happen either. You know what I do? I hit that little elliptical thing. I hit not interested and then I put irrelevant. That is because it is. It's irrelevant. I still get them. Just a different Yahoo. So at least it changes a little bit, but they all say the same thing. All right. So it says we of alcoholics could not be all things to all men, but we should not, and we should not try to be. No, our primary, or otherwise we're going to lose our primary purpose. If we're over here trying to get reform for somebody so that they don't go to jail, but this person is dying of alcoholism, I am beyond my primary purpose. I am not completing my primary purpose. This person has got to come first. Once that's all done and taken care of, then you can get back to your reform or whatever. It's why I highly recommend to people that if you are going to work in this field and you are a recovered alcoholic, that you better have sponsees. If you just have clients, you're working a field. You are no longer working AA. I watch it happen all the time. I do. People get into the field and they don't really need AA. Because you got what? Now you think you got it covered? You think you're doing service work and getting paid at the same time. No, that's not how it works. You may feel good when you go home, but sooner or later, okay, freely received, freely given. It's the one rule we have. A is not to be bought or sold. A couple, I don't know how many people around, but a couple of years ago, you know what got big for about 30 days? Paid sponsorship. I shit you not. It came out. And it's going to happen again. It'll happen again here. You watch it. It'll come back out again. It's not going to work because somebody thinks that they have some great idea, right? Okay, we call that denial of alcohol. Denial. Yes, that's what it is. When you decide not to listen to somebody else's experience who's going through what you're trying to do, yeah, that is denial. At one time, we nearly got embroiled in the wet dry controversy. It's happening now. It's happening again. But AA is not getting involved in it. But you can see it out there. A whole division on, well, I'm sober, you're not. What the fuck? What? The worst thing that we could do, that we could divide on, you know. I mean, it's at a point where, there could be a piece of dog poop and people will argue over whether it's brown or green. Seriously. Yeah. That's what it's like. No. All right. A liquor trade associate wanted to hire an AA member as an educator. No. Fuck no. What are you talking about? Okay. That'd be like me giving a Google review for the guy selling fentanyl on the corner. It's exactly what it would be. Okay. Its members wanted to teach that too much grog is bad for everybody and that alcoholics cannot drink it all. So far, so good, but it further appeared that in all their publicity, they wished to stress the fact that their educator, Mr. X, was a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. That was something else again. The public would at once think that Alcoholics Anonymous had got into the field of education via the liquor industry. If that happened, the Dries would instantly hire another AA member for educational purposes. This would land us, of course, smack in the middle of endless controversy. We simply could not take sides in this fight and do business with sick alcoholics too. Okay. What is all this striving for more anyway? This is pride and ego at work. What Why do people feel the need for popularity, for the likes, the loves, the accolades? It may not look like it, but it's because they have low self-esteem. That's why. Because you want to be recognized. You want your 15. Well, I want to make a video and have it go viral. Yeah. There's billions of people in the world. Right? Quit trying to save the world and go work on your fucking family. Quit worrying. Yeah. I'm glad to see that you're making these videos and doing all that. But have you spent any time with your children lately? People that put stuff up and they're nothing but happy and it's this, it's that, and life's always good are usually the worst off. Okay? Behind the scenes, my friends, behind the scenes. I don't certainly act like everything's good all the time. No way. Because it's not how life is. It's not how life works. All right. The would-be educator showed up at the New York office asking for advice. Of course, we told him that we thought the factual education to be a very good thing and that as a public relations expert and as a citizen, he certainly had a perfect right to take the job. But did he think that he should advertise his AA membership at the same time? Our member got the point. He said, Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life. It comes first. Yes. Thank you, Mr. X. It comes first. Before anything Dion wants, AA comes first. Because Dion doesn't have anything without his recovery for some reason. Okay. I've accepted that. It was a big thing to swallow. I don't like ultimatums, but the ultimatum was an alcoholic death or this way. Then I found out that this way had a shit ton of choices. Then my options opened up. All right. And then Mr. X goes on to say, I certainly won't be the guy to land AA in big trouble. And this might really do it. Our friend had summed up the whole endorsement problem. We saw as never before that we could not lend the AA name to any cause other than our own. Because our cause is big enough. Do not let your recovery verge on codependency. Okay? You're going to have to learn how to sacrifice. You're going to need to learn delayed gratification. Okay? I go through it too, where I want to be Mr. Popular and help a bunch of people. Then I think about that and think about how overwhelming the appeals would be. And yeah, I don't know that I want it. See? What are those? Just a bunch of what Dion wants. Is that going to, the real question is what I'm going to do next help somebody? Is what I'm going to do next make me a better person? Is what I do next going to make the world a better place? Am I improving my neighborhood? Am I being a good person in front of my children? This is what counts. All these other people aren't going to fucking remember you when you're gone. Your kids will. Your kids will. All right, we're going to do another paragraph for here today. Actually, I think we'll finish off the page. Long afterward, we saw something else. We saw that the more AA minded its own business, the greater its general influence could become. What? Minding our own business? Yes. Clean your side of the street. Clean AA side of the street. You don't need to worry about everybody else. I like it that they did that. Mind your own business. Sticking your finger in everybody's fucking business, alcoholic. It's not your business. Usually when you're doing that, you probably got work to do. You probably got a lot of work to do. Michelle's being sober is becoming popular among people because so many people in Hollywood are coming forward. Yeah, it's just another popularity thing. It'll fade. It'll fade like everything else does. It will not sustain because there's nothing there to sustain it. Okay. So let me tell you one thing about Hollywood. Okay. It's a show, my friends. It's a show. Even their lives are a show. Don't buy it. They are playing characters. When that camera comes on, they cannot help themselves. They will go into character. It is their job to entertain you. It is not their job to give you advice on how to think. Let's remember that a lot of people that are actors and actresses have a lot of mental health issues, and you probably shouldn't listen to them. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Minded its own business, medicine and religion and psychiatry began to borrow some of our ideas and experience. There we go. We let our friends, we let our allies do that part because that's their job. Now there's over 2,000 types of A meetings. Yeah, right. So did research, rehabilitation, and education. All sorts of therapeutic groups began to spring up. I really wish I would have been around during this part because that the massive growth it, we've kind of stalemated at the present moment, but AA will start growing again. Um, I, they dealt with gambling, divorce, delinquency, dope, addiction, mental illness, and the like. They too borrowed from AA, but they made their own adaptations. They worked their own fields, and we did not have to endorse them or tell them how to live. Yeah. The big book's been rewritten a lot to fit different areas. What did we say? Cool. Okay. We have no we have no right to tell these people how to do it. I'm not an overeater. I have a porn problem. I have a gambling problem. I'm an alcoholic. I think a little different. Right? Our influence has not been confined to just these fields. It is beginning now to be general, right? So even all the stuff that's coming out now where people are putting down AA, all your stuff is based off AA, you jackasses. You just don't know it because you refuse to learn the history. But you're talking AA all the fucking time. I hope you know that. Oops. It's all based off this. Yeah. All right, one more paragraph. Let's see. It crops out into political and business life. People who know alcoholics and their families are deeply affected. The very development that we once wanted to force have begun to take place of themselves. Today we understand and accept this paradox. The more AA sticks to its primary purpose, the greater will be its helpful influence everywhere. So the best way we can help everybody is by getting out of the fucking way. Keeping your damn mouth shut, right? 80% of the program. That doesn't change ever. That time does not change you keeping your mouth shut. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and keep on trudging.